So, my name is Isaiah Burnett, and this is the official recording of my so and so called podcast. Uh, it's really just me talking about this one particular subject that I'm super passionate about, and I'm going to kind of explain that as I go along. This is actually an English project for English 4 in my Central High School senior class. Miss Cash is my teacher. We've been watching a lot of docu-series lately, which is like a documentary and like kind of in a series fashion. So it's like instead of it being 1 hour to 2 hour long documentary, it's split up in about 45-minute episodes. 45-minute episodes, and there's about maybe like 10 or so each. So our options were do a podcast, a research paper, or a docu-series episode. And I thought about doing the docu-series episode, but it would just be difficult for me to do it for 15 minutes because it's like I have to insert footage and, things like that. I don't really want to interview somebody for 5 minutes, you know what I'm saying? So I think a podcast is good. I'm really good at talking, so I think this is something good for me. So actually what I'm passionate about is the north side of Springfield. To some people it might sound kind of funny, but it's like, to me, I grew up around here and I fell in love with this place, and I'm just, very fond of what is happening here. When we lived in Florida, I loved living in Florida, but I wanted nothing more than to move back to my home city on the inside, low key. So when my parents were finally like, hey, we're actually going to end up moving back, it made me super happy because it's like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been wanting. So, I just was super excited about it because Springfield, in my opinion, is a really homey and really natural place. It's really somewhere where it's like, there's some bad things that go on, but it's like, is it really that bad? And everything is just so memorable and it's just so iconic, I guess, like kind of a weird way to say it because it's not iconic in the super duper famous sense, but it's iconic as in like, these are things that will be inside of me and my heart for the rest of our lives. And that's probably the best way that I can describe it. That's just why I am passionate about what I am doing. I really want to make a change in my community, not just for Springfield, but for something far greater than this one city. I feel like there's a lot of cities like Springfield out there, but Springfield's where I came from, and Springfield is where I call home. So the north side of Springfield, which is my ultimate goal to fix and my ultimate topic. So really what I kind of want to get into is, I'll start off with a little backstory, okay, I grew up in the north side of Springfield, not saying that I grew up like as an age and years, like I went from year 1 to year 5 as someone who lived and grew up on the north side. Not like that necessarily. I kind of moved back and forth between Florida and Springfield, but not to mention I moved back and forth between different cities. I mean, not cities, different parts of the city. So I did live in the south for a little bit. I did live in the west. I lived southwest. But north is kind of where I stuck my memories and where I cherished being the most. Now, the north side of Springfield is actually a really beautiful place. In my opinion, I think the north side of Springfield is the most beautiful part of town. Not up here by Battlefield and stuff like that, but, just these lines of homes that are like completely different from each other. The apartments that are kind of ran down, but it's like, they're livable and they're iconic. This is what I meant by iconic because they're like, this is something that I will actually never forget. I'm always going to remember the way it looked, the way it smelled, the way the atmosphere felt. I'll never forget that, living over here by Battlefield and stuff like that. When you go all the way down National, you get next to Mercy and stuff. They have a lot of cookie cutter houses. It's supposed to be like all prissy and nice, and it's just like, that just seems fake to me. Like, give me the real deal, you know what I'm saying? This isn't what Springfield is. Springfield is the heart of the city is in Springfield, or I mean, in the north side. That is where the heart of the city is, where downtown is. That is the heart. That is the heart and soul of this city. And I believe that is the most beautiful part, and I believe that it can be changed. And that is what my podcast is all about. Now, I will be pulling out different references and stuff like that. I'll mention a few interviews that I did give to people. I might find a way to insert some type of physical, maybe like a picture or something. You know, if I could put this in a wee video or something like that, that would be great. So I have a couple of different things about this topic in particular. My topic is kind of broad. It's the north side of Springfield, but there's a couple of different things that go into it. You know, poverty, homelessness, the rundownness of, which I guess you could put into poverty, but of the north side itself. Sorry, 1 second. But, you know, like the fact that if you live around Central or you go to Central, you are no doubt going to find a lot of homeless people. And I think that's a different problem that we can fix, but I think one of the main ways to fix that is to some type of governmental homeless housing and things like that, or, you know, different things. I think there's lots of ways to do it, but I think that's one of the big problems of Springfield. I think if we could take out the homelessness, this place would be a lot more lively, because that is where the crime is. The crime isn't really in the minority neighborhoods. The crime isn't in the white rich neighborhoods. You know, it's not, or even whatever, the rich, the poor. It's not like that. I think the crime starts with the homeless population, because I personally have a cousin who is currently homeless because he is on meth. That's why he's homeless, because his life drove to meth, and he, lives on the streets now. He given so many chances, and it ended up just not working out for him. And that, hold on. That is one of the reasons why he's homeless. So that's why I consider that a huge factor. Another thing, meth led to his homelessness. Bad decisions led to his homelessness, but ultimately it was the drugs. But between the homelessness, the poverty, the crime, the abandonedness, walking up and down the streets of Springfield and the north side, I remember whenever I was maybe my freshman, probably my sophomore year, to be honest, of high school, and I thought, I wanted to play basketball and stuff like that, so I was like, I'm going to walk up to Grand Beach. It's probably about like a 15-minute walk, really not that bad from where I lived, but yeah, people would just go up there and play basketball every Sunday, and, that's just one of the amazing things, is like a bunch of these kids that grew up in these neighborhoods can go up here to this well-known park. Everybody knows what Grand Beach is, and play some basketball, which is super fun, because it's like they have good courts and stuff like that, and it was really homey, and no fights or anything ever broke out whenever I would go. Stuff like that didn't really happen. It was kind of wholesome. Like, we just played basketball. Like, of course we cuss and get mad and things like that, but nobody ever fought, dude. Nobody ever fought. Nobody ever did anything, and that's one of the crazy things about it, is just like, how can a group of kids who's singular and alone, or with different people under different circumstances, become so aggressive or so bad, and then you put all of those kids together in one spot, one area, Grant Beach Park, in the north side of Springfield, close to downtown, close to Central, close to Pipkin, close to all these bad things that are well associated and known with bad things, and the media portrays it bad. Social media portrays it bad. Everyone who doesn't live around here portrays it bad. And you take those kids, you put them on a basketball court where people lose and win, and they accept it. They accept it, and they think it's okay. And I just think that's so beautiful to me, because it's like, you take these kids that are just just some of them go to Studi, and not to hit on Studi, but like that's where a lot of the bad kids that I know go. Bad kids is in bad behavior, and it's just crazy. You put them together on a basketball court at Grand Beach, and they just love it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know. It's just amazing, and it's just mind blowing to me, because those are the things that I'm talking about. This is the homeness, and the positiveness that we can spread, and the things that we can protect if we really learn to love our city. So homelessness is a big problem. Poverty is a big problem too. Although that I did talk about, like, a lot of the houses look beautiful, and they're kind of like, they're not cookie cutter houses like there are around here where I live, but they're all different, and some of them. Sorry, hold on. Okay, there's no forks. Some of them are run down, but most of them are not, and I don't know, man. It's just like, I wanna say that it's completely beautiful, 100%, and it's amazing. But it's like some of them are run down to the point where it's like no one lives in them. Some of them just take up empty spots. Some of them just make the whole neighborhood look bad. Some of them are meth houses, crack houses, houses used for drugs, houses that homeless people sleep in, which is the how they're connected. I actually looked up. I looked up a couple of different things on the internet, which I will take a screenshot of and post on here. Once I do, I'm gonna put it through WeVideo, and I'm gonna post it, and I'm gonna put it in there. But Springfield is one of the highest in the nation for automobile theft, Grand Theft Auto. So people get their cars stolen a lot in Springfield, and that is populated mostly in the north side, which is actually kind of sad. But I looked at this crime map where it shows where a lot of the crime is happening, and I'm actually going to screenshot that too, or I'm going to take a picture of it and put it in there. But my teacher, Mr. Wallace, my old one, actually found it for me. But it's pretty crazy, man. Like, where a lot of the crime is associated, which is where you would think it would be, which is kind of sad. But I feel like there's ways to fix it, and I feel like we will fix it. It just takes time. And actually, in a couple of the interviews that I did one with my aunt, talked to her about Springfield, especially the north side. I did one with my mom. I did one with my mom. I did a couple with my grandma. I actually did one with Mr. Wallace too for a little bit. I asked him a few questions about the north side in particular. But I mean, they all kind of said the same thing, like they don't remember it being as bad as it is now. So like, crime wasn't as bad, and actually my aunt did say something crazy, which I can write down, or I can show you. Or something like that. It's actually mind blowing. She said that Springfield was one of the better places to live back when she was a kid. I've had the hard time finding the evidence for that, like trying to find where it says it's one of the top places to live, because it was probably in a news article or something, because they didn't really have the internet, or they did, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. It wasn't as easy to look up something as it is now back then. So I'm probably just gonna have to, I'll look for something. I will try to find something to support that. But my aunt did say, and she's lived here since she was born. She was born in about like 1977, I think. But she said it was one of the top places to live. And then, meth, or not meth, and sorry, that's kind of singular, but crime just entered and kind of took over America in general once the 80s and the 90s hit, the whole crack epidemic and things like that. And, the town just got worse. And it sucks to say, because it used to be a great place. And there's a lot of things that I see. I see a lot of Route 66 stuff because Route 66 actually runs through Springfield, and I've seen a lot of things related to that. Whenever I would walk, like I walked from Central to my friend's house, and I had to run through downtown, and I went all the way down College Street. And on College Street, there's actually a slew of stores, like little shops, which is actually really cute because they're just little shops, and like there's nothing behind it. It's kind of just like this one road, and you have like a hill that kind of like goes down like this, but you have a line of shops that go down like that go across like this, and it's really nice. It's really funny actually because they probably were really prevalent back in the day, but it kind of just stopped whenever the wealth kind of moved away from this side of town and started going to other places. There used to be a mall. Actually, I asked my mom. There used to be a mall around here, or in the north side, in downtown and stuff like that, and it didn't really work out. So, just something else to think about too. I always said that if we somehow could put something entertaining in the downtown area, you could get a lot more of the youth to come instead of now. A lot of the younger kids, a lot of kids my age, they decide to go in the acid tunnels, go to the top of the parking garage, and stuff like that. So it's either like the parking garage, Hertz Donuts, the movies, the tunnels. That's pretty much about it. Or they go to the Outland, but it's like, some of those things aren't very wholesome for kids 16, 17 years old. So, I don't know, man. It's just pretty crazy to me, in my opinion, how things just change over the years with the times and stuff like that. But I'd really love to turn Springfield around and turn it into a better place. Homelessness, poverty, and crime, three of those main things, they run the north side of Springfield in Missouri. And it's kind of sad, actually, because I wish that they didn't. But that's just the way it is sometimes, So I kind of gave my 3 reasonings. I might go in and add different clips, take videos of myself and kind of put them together on WeVideo. But I really just wanted to get my main message across, and I wanted to get a few bit of points, and I wanted to have some evidence to put in there. I appreciate you guys listening, and I appreciate you guys watching. I hope that I can do more for the city and do more for African Americans and all these different things. I have such great plans. I just need to find the motivation to do it, and I'm hoping that this is one thing that could put me on the stepping stone to that could put me in that mindset and that motivation. My macaroni is actually about to overflow, so I'm actually going to tend to that, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I love you guys, and see you later.